In this podcast, we share some of the challenges and difficulties in life. Content may include open dialogue about topics such as suicide, depression, feeling lost or alone, anxiety, addiction struggles, homophobia, and descriptions of bullying experiences.
Good afternoon. Hello, Connor.
Hello.
Hello, Cynthia.
Hello.
And our guest today is Bobby.
Hello.
Hi, Bobby.
And Bobby's been one of our original young boys that started coming into the club. So he might have stories to tell. So we'll let him tell his side of his life and his accomplishments.
Do you feel like a young boy right now?
You know, just being here in this building in particular, I've first came in here when I was 18, and I remember it very clear. And I've met some really good friends here, and it's just been like part of my gay adult life now. And I'm like 45 now, so it's just been one of my constants in my life. So this just being here actually does make me feel like a young boy.
That's good. That's good.
But Bobby's done some wonderful things for a lot of people, and he'll be telling that part later on. But right now, we want to have him tell his stories about like how he met us and how Bob helped him, influence him, and brought laughter into his life, brought misery into his life, all sorts of things. So, tell us the first time you met Bob.
I believe I think I was 18 when I first come in here. I think it was my second time coming in here. And I had, the first time, it's kind of a blur because just everybody. But the second time, I just kind of was like a little more aware. And I remember Bob was sitting at the corner of the bar, as he usually was, and came out of his way to make my acquaintance and loved that I was a Bobby.
Yeah.
Immediately was drawn to me. And I was just telling Cal previous that I met my ex-boyfriend Joey here, and that was one of my 10-year relationships in my life. So it just, I have a lot of akin to this place. But Bob in particular was like he was like the oracle here. I didn't come here without looking for him and seeing him and saying hello to him. And a lot of times he would read you just by looking at you. He'd know what you were dealing with, what you were going through, if you were, ups or down, just by glancing at you. Who's really good at that. And I needed that because I'm an only child, and my dad wasn't around, so he was just a male constant figure in my life of just a mirror, or somebody to tell me who I was at a certain time. And, couldn't get away with anything with him. He was just too sharp. And I loved that kind of energy. I give that kind of energy with kids in my life now that, I'm big brother to, and that I watch over. I'm that same way. I'm like, what do you got going on? Let me even look at you.
You're a big brother?
Yeah. I definitely learned a lot from Bob. And
How do you, big brother? So tell me about that a little bit.
I have kind of I'm being an only child, but I've actually kind of adopted quite a few kids along the way. Boys
Trouble kids, right?
Yes,
Yeah, people,
kids.
The family problems, runaways.
Yeah. I've always had a big house here in Riverside, so I'm always adopting. Somebody needs a place to stay, or somebody needs a job, or anything, and I've always kind of been big brother to a lot of my younger friends in my life. So.
Bob was one of the persons I knew always had the biggest heart, but he also listened to the young people, and he really listened to them.
There's one thing.
And he would never tell you what to do. He would say, "This is what Cal and I would do."
Yes.
I mean, he always never told you what to do.
No. And even though he could.
Yeah.
He could very well tell you he knows how it's supposed to go and how, but he wasn't that person. He's not going to tell you, and I do the same thing. Because you can't tell people how to live their life. You can't tell them, you can, but it's just not beneficial.
No, in a young mind, they only have their own perception of what's in their world. Yeah. But Bob would listen to them. And I mean, he even talked to couples that were together and they were abusive, and he would tell that. I think he would talk down more to them, because if you go get abused, you shouldn't be in there.
Right.
You shouldn't be in that relationship, because nobody needs to be treated like that.
Yeah.
Like you take it to heart when you see a person kicking a dog. That so, innocent.
Yeah.
They don't deserve that.
Yeah.
So they don't belong in that world.
Yeah, and then I remember splitting with my ex and kind of just being on my own for a little while. And so when I would come in, then I remembered myself. I just remember being really vulnerable at that time, coming back in, and him always still stopping me and still, what are you doing? What's going on with you? And a lot of times I was trying not to. I didn't want anybody to see how vulnerable I was, and he really did see right through me. He was one of the people that really did just see right to my core, and I really enjoyed that of him, And you too. I remember.
But he also brought that laughter into your life, so that
very
probably
much
helped
so.
you to get over it because he would make. If you're like that, he will try to make you laugh
absolutely.
and bring that
No,
laughter.
I would never leave crying. It was not and I never even expected to cry. Sometimes we just have this conversation real quick, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Shit. I have streams down my face, and I'm like, I wasn't expecting all that. But he would lift you right back up before he let you go,
Yeah.
and make sure that you were, not coming to him broken. He would send you away, feeling good about yourself and feeling, you're here to have a good time. You don't need any of that.
Yeah.
I mean, wipe your face. You're okay. Go in the bathroom. Put some water on your face. You're okay. Go have a drink. And I loved that energy. I give, like I said, I give that energy right back when when my kids do come visit me or something. I make sure that they leave me better than they
So
were
you
before.
definitely say that Bob helped you influence your life
Oh,
and
absolutely.
touched you to show you how to be a good person with all the negativities
yeah.
that you have in your world.
Yeah, how to be a good host, how to be a good, big brother, like a dad, uncle. He was all the things that, because I didn't, like I said, growing up, I didn't have dad next to me. I didn't know how to be. I didn't have a good example of, a good, strong man who was a, role model. And
And he was set in his ways, and he was
very
also a hard person to deal with.
oh, absolutely. If it didn't,
Yeah.
he wasn't just trying to talk.
He didn't have he had his negative side. Some people didn't like him because he's so direct,
Right.
and people can't handle true honesty.
Yeah. Sometimes the truth people don't want to hear.
Yeah,
The truth.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's another thing.
Yeah.
So
Very true.
Are you a teacher?
No, I mean I have been. I've one of my many jobs. I was a youth counselor back probably about 10 years ago now. I was a youth development specialist in Paris, helping at-risk kids that teach them work readiness class and get them placed into work or placed into schools and stuff. And I had like a caseload of like 62 kids.
That's
on my
because
own.
you discovered your giving heart.
Oh, very much so. It was.
Yeah.
I had a young cousin, Patrick, who I actually brought here one time too. He committed suicide at a very young age, and it just
Oh, that is so sad
he
because
was young. He was 15 at the time, and it really just
Oh.
it changed my wheel of life at that
Sure.
time. Like I really was. I was really hurt at the time by it, and I didn't know how to heal myself from it. So after I was done being a mess for like a good year or two, I took myself back to school, got my credits I needed, and started counseling, and that really helped me heal. Like I didn't think anything could help me get past that.
that's probably one of the worst things that happened in your life.
Yeah, absolutely. I've lost a lot of people in my life, but my little cousin in particular, that
How old is he?
he was 15.
years
Yeah, I think
old.
I was about 25 or 26.
And I
at the
was
time.
suicidal when I was about 14 and a half.
That's a
You know,
really
and it was just about
crucial
my
time.
my sexuality and being raised by hard religious people.
Yeah. It's hard for young boys at that time if you don't have stability and routine and somebody who is going to hold you accountable for things.
Now, do you suspect that he was did he have mental issues or did he have
was-
identity issues
He
or?
was dealing with some issues at the time with family and everything around him that normal people wouldn't.
Well, you could go through.
I mean, family drug use,
Yeah.
family, just a lot of
He was living in an abusive world.
yes. So, and nobody to
And nobody showed him love or attention
and
or.
nobody made him follow the rules.
Yeah.
And nobody made him accountable. So he was allowed detention. He was allowed to do all these things, and he just ran amok and ran himself. So, but yeah, he was very much he was my kid. And like, I even to this day I still do like all children's services for
Well,
free.
because of that, that's what you're doing right now. You're taking care of people kids that nobody else wants.
Yeah.
And you're giving them a place, and then you're giving them their autonomy and letting them grow and do and act the way they want to be.
Yeah, sometimes they just need the attention and someone to talk to and to listen to, and to give them a chore or two to, like, tell them good job that you did something good, and encourage them and inspire them, and teach
Well,
them.
actually, you're teaching them from the misery that they're in to the kindness of just being there for
Very
them.
much, yeah.
So yeah, I commend you. I really do. I'm very proud of you. Very proud of you. And I know Bob's very proud of you.
Yeah, I think of him all the time. I trust me. I keep his picture on my desk, and I can see him every time I'm at my desk. I see him, so he's very part of my daily.
Okay, I know you've done beautiful things for Bob and I, especially for me when Bob passed. But what business are you in now?
Well, I have a white dove release business, and I release white doves at any special ceremonies, primarily funerals, weddings. I do anniversaries, quinceañeras,
Parties.
photo shoots, movies. I just did a movie last week in San Diego. I just did a photo shoot in Los Angeles last Thursday, and I stay not just with the services and everything. I stay very busy, like entertainment ways. I did.
How did you get into that business?
My mom and I, actually, my mom was the brains behind this. I've been doing this business for 20 years now, and I mean, just now I'm really like almost an everyday, thing, whether I'm releasing at a funeral or doing some kind of event or something. I have an assistant as well. My mom has 2 assistants, so we stay very busy. And
So it was your mom's business that you?
Yeah.
But you.
yeah, my mom, she was talking about doing this like 20 years to 30 years ago, and she had always had homing pigeons, and she thought, I should raise all white homing pigeons, and then we can, really was talking about this 30 years ago. We've only been doing it for 20, but she's been talking about it for 30, and I was dragging my feet at the time. I was doing, me back when I was designing clothes, and I was working for designers, and I was...
We don't want to do what our parents
Yeah,
want to do. We just
she was
don't.
like, she was patiently
don't.
waiting for me, and I know I'm an only child, so she's like, I don't want to do this business with anybody else, and so I was doing job after job, and I was like, okay, after every job, I was like, okay, what am I gonna do next? And after I was actually doing youth counseling, I was a little. It healed me, but I was
Still hurting or still lacking?
I was just tired of. I given my all to 60 kids at a time, and it was very exhausting. And I feel like that's the only job I ever felt like ever aged me.
It was draining you so much.
I'm a very youthful
yeah.
person, and it was the only job I felt like it. I was only there for about 4 years, but I was there for like 9 years. But it was in a good way. But after I was done with that, I wanted something completely different. I didn't want to be in an
But to
office.
say now you got this business and you're still helping kids.
Oh yeah, it's a different.
So
kind of help, though.
but it's a different environment.
Yeah.
It's in your personal
this
life.
Is without case notes.
Yeah.
This is without going to visit
So you're
them
still
at their-
but you're still carrying that part of you with you
Yes.
in your journey as you
Yes.
go.
Well, it's part of. I need to feel fulfilled.
Sure.
With any job I doing, I did a lot of jobs where I didn't feel fulfilled. It was like when I was designing clothes, I was even though I got to work with these people, and I put some stuff on Gaga on her first tour, and I was doing some major stuff with some people, and I was just like, okay, well, that was cool, that was fun.
Yeah.
What's next?
What's the next
I'm
thing?
over it. I'm on to the next thing, and it was. I always kind of felt like that because it didn't give me that fulfilled feeling. I saw my stuff on a stage with somebody that I really admired, but it wasn't enough to keep me going with it and make money from it. And just, I'm like, next thing. So after the youth counseling, and I started doing this, I wasn't actually even sure that I wanted to do this for very long because I'm a very sensitive person. And I was at funerals all the time, and I was there crying with these families of this person that I didn't know, and I'm like, I tell my mom, like, I'm too sensitive for this job. I can't do this job. And she's just like, I thought she's going to be like mom with me. And she's like, no, you need to get back out there and you need to like stand away. You need to have, you're there to do a job. You're not there. You're not. And it was very, even though it was a little tough love. It was
She
his friend.
taught you it's the business, and you
Yes.
need to step back and just
Absolutely.
let it happen because it will naturally just
Absolutely.
happen.
And she was right, as moms usually
Mom's
are.
always right.
Always right.
Oh, my
she,
goodness.
And she was right, and it really became.
No, my mom was
calling.
wrong, but that's an
Not all
exception.
moms. No. But yeah, I'm glad to be still doing this. It's definitely been like a calling, versus like
Yeah.
I do this every day and I don't even think about. Sometimes I'm in like just earlier this morning.
Stop.
We'll cancel that. That's okay.
Don't worry about it. I'll just edit it out when I get there.
It's okay.
Yeah, but if you're talking, saying something important, just let it.
I wasn't sure if it's here or there.
My hair's on the mic.
Huh?
I said my hair was on the mic. I was gonna get in your mouth. I was like,
I've had hair in my mouth, especially when you go down there.
Wow. I didn't know we were going to go down there. Okay.
I forgot what I was saying.
Well, you can.
Yeah, me too. I forgot what you were saying. I forgot what I was saying.
Cynthia, you can get hair in your mouth when you go down there.
Oh, dang.
That's a equal opportunity chance, Okay, continue.
I don't remember.
No, can you tell me a little bit more about, so you got into this profession because your mom was doing it, but it wasn't quite for you in a certain way.
It did take a few years for me to, because I was still doing other jobs while I was doing this as well, because I was waiting for this to really pick up. Because it wasn't like this always. It was slow the first 5 years I was doing this. It took like a lot of gifting, donating birds for different functions, for cancer walks, for suicide prevention walks, for all.
But you're doing it for charity,
all children's
so
services for free. A lot of donating in the community for people to recognize what I'm doing, in order for them to reach out and want me to be as part of it. Now I have like many contracts.
in a way, that's still good business because you can write those off as to your expenses that it costs you to whatever it's doing in those 5 years. It's like restructuring.
Yeah.
Doing the charity work and still, doing some jobs that pay you. But that's pretty much.
But you're learning something as you go. So
Yes.
you're deciding for yourself.
It let me really finesse what I was doing too, because this is what I was going to say. I just came from a function this morning, and I was speaking in front of 250 people, and it's dead quiet, and they're listening to your words, and it's very
Scary.
it is scary. But for me, I'm a Gemini. I live on stage sometimes, so for me, I need this little thing part of the day to have that energy to you're having a conversation with all these people at once, and it is a very powerful feeling to give that to them without even the birds. That's just my words. So to give that energy to people and then put a bird in their hand and then hear the bird, feel the bird's heartbeat and to let go of that bird that feels a lot heavier, and to feel, hopeful on a really sad day is intense for these people, and they're not really expecting that. And to give that gift every day to someone is really powerful. The energy that you see them, it's a sad day and you see them smile as the bird flies off, and it's, that's a good.
That's what I was saying at the beginning. You did something very beautiful for me because Bob passed away in 2018. And I finally got him placed into a crypt, and he was there. And then on his birthday, Bobby comes up to me and says, I want to release doves to celebrate his birthday. And so we went to his crypt, invited a few people, and he released the doves. And boy, did they take off and want to go home.
Yeah. They're always ready to
But
go.
that was a beautiful thing, and then you did that for me, and I appreciate that, Bobby. I really do.
I appreciate you all these years. It was the least I could do. I adore you people, and you've been some of my constants for a long time.
And then I asked you to do that for me on Bob and I's anniversary because that's a day we share for the rest of our lives, and I still honor that day very much. So.
Yeah.
That would be a beautiful thing.
We'll be doing doves that day for you too. Yes, absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
Can we do it tomorrow?
If it's early in the day, absolutely.
Just ready to go. Let's do it. Let's get it over with.
I've been, the things I've been able to do with the birds. I just, I couldn't imagine I'd be doing all the things that I'm doing now. I did Elton John's farewell photos for his tour, and I've done
But it was your mom that started this.
It was my mom that
thing?
started that,
Yes.
but with me, it was as far as like the entertainment, anything entertainment wise, the music videos, the photo shoots, the movies, all that's primarily me.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, but your mom is in like San Diego area, right?
She's closer to like Matthews.
Lake Matthew?
Yeah, but her birds can go all the way down to like Fallbrook.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then yours is here in
And,
Riverside.
my
I think
business-
there's one in my backyard right now. So
That's probably not mine.
To promote your business, would you like to give your phone number and your name? And
My business is SoCal White Doves, and my number is 951-202-9894. And you can look us up, pictures and videos on Instagram, SoCal White Doves. And I have a lot of videos and photos and stuff from celebrities and just everyday stuff.
And I'll also link it down in the description as well.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
well, Bobby, I'm so proud of you. You've you've become such a beautiful person, and you've done amazing things for a lot of people.
Thank you.
Isn't that beautiful?
When it's put that way, yes. It does sound very beautiful.
Well, I'm not saying it's not difficult. You always have difficulties, and you always have situations, and you have to adapt and change. But when you become a beautiful person, you adapt, you change, you just go with the flow. Even if there's a negativity, you just learn to get over it.
That's very true.
Well, you are a beautiful person.
Thank you so
start
much.
out a beautiful person. Just life brings us weird things
Yeah.
that we don't always expect. But you start out as a beautiful soul.
No, very true.
So we need to figure out how to express that soul.
Yeah.
They keep telling me that, but they call me a bitch.
Well, it's very important to keep the little kid inside of you. It's very important to keep the little kid inside of you
exactly.
alive and well.
Yeah.
Protect them always. Keep that, because if we lose our little kid inside of us, it's you see all the staunchy people once they've given.
But you know what? The kids they're our future. They really are. And if they have a harsh heart, they become harsh people. And if they get taught goodness and rethink their thoughts and think more of themselves, they become something.
Yes.
So,
But that's not Bobby.
No, not me. I know how to protect my energy now. I'm very more. My 20s and 30s, I collected everybody's energy, and I didn't really get it. But now,
Bobby was a seed that
at
got
45,
planted and he blossomed.
at 45, I can definitely tell the difference people's intentions.
It's
and
true, you can. You
emotions,
really
and
can.
I'm very aware. I keep myself very tucked away from everything that I don't need to be around anymore,
Yes.
and I hone my energy for the things that I do need to give it for. So I didn't used to do that before. I wanted to be everywhere all the time. And
Well, you're making it sound like you have a perfect life, but
no,
it's
at
not.
all.
It's not.
No life is perfect. trust me.
No, that is very true.
No life
Very
is
true.
perfect, but it does feel good doing good stuff for good people, and I just it feels.
It's good for
to
the
wake up.
self soul.
Oh yeah, it feels good to wake up that
Self-worth,
way, and it feels good to go to sleep that way.
And it's pride. It's pride. It's pride.
Oh yeah.
Thank you, Bobby.
yeah, thank you
Thanks
guys.
for
Well,
hanging-
thank you,
for
Bobby.
hanging out with us.
It's like you've been a longtime friend. We don't really socialize that much,
Yeah.
but we socialized more after Bob passed away. We've done a couple of dinners.
Yeah.
So we'll get together more and more often.
Anytime, and I'm always here to come and chit-chat. I have professional and unprofessional stories.
That's the best.
Well, we can do
I'm a Gemini.
we can do an episode on your nasty life. He's got some stories, let me tell you.
I am modern day Hugh Hefner. Yes, I am.
But this is more about introducing you to the Bobby we know and his business
Most
and
people
how
know me-
proud.
Most people know me professional wise and just being out and about, but
Yeah.
You know, I love being part of the community. I love just, you know, I was just at a sushi place, and the guy.
No, you have
sushi guy
an
recognized me.
amazing I factor, and that's what this whole podcast is about: is
Okay.
discovering self and saying that you're worthy, and saying that you can find somebody to help you get out of whatever mess you're in,
Yeah.
and take that help and accept it, and just learn to blossom like a flower.
Yeah.
So that's what this podcast is about. Really is.
Or fly like a dove.
Yeah, or fly like a dove. Oh, we can use that.
There you
Can
go.
we use that, Sade?
Fly like a dove.
Well, you know what the doves say. Well, thank you guys for having me. It's been very sweet.
Well,
Appreciate you doing
Bobby,
this.
I'm glad you were comfortable on the comfort zone.
Oh, always.
And thank you for being here with us. So goodbye, Cynthia. Goodbye, Bobby. And goodbye, Connor.
Goodbye.
Bye, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for
Thank you.
listening.
Thank you, guys, and thanks for listening.
If you are experiencing painful thoughts or are in need of support, please reach out to someone. Your mental well-being is important to us. Mental health services are free and available to you. You have value and you are worthy of kindness and help. Reach out and talk. For 24/7 free and confidential assistance, call or text the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988, or call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 800-273-8255.